We know the date, we've had the invites, now it's time for me to give you my full predictions for Apple's biggest event of the year. We're just 1 week away now from WWDC, which is Apple's largest event of the year. And I don't know about you, but I am tempering my expectations slightly. You see, over the last few years, I've got rather fed up with raising my expectations to a point at which they are inevitably dashed. Whether it's the potential for big hardware announcements or just much needed steps forward with certain operating systems, Apple has this habit of doing the exact opposite of what we want. In fairness, they do spring the odd surprise on us now and again, and some of them are very welcome indeed. For instance, who saw Universal Control coming? So today I thought I'd give you my full predictions for WWDC 2022, and in preparation, I've decided to steer clear from as many rumours as possible. Before I get started, a quick word from today's awesome sponsor, 1Password. I've made the full switch to 1Password now, not just for password management, but for storing all of my most confidential stuff. And that is one of the coolest things about 1Password. It goes miles beyond a regular password manager by allowing you to store your IDs, credit card details, software licenses, and much, much more. And the recent launch of 1Password 8 has been pretty game-changing for me personally, thanks to a rather brilliant feature called Universal Autofill. This enables you to automatically fill your login details for any Mac app and even macOS system prompts. Universal Autofill does the hard work for you, like so many things in 1Password, and it's features like this that really set 1Password apart from the competition, I think, and it's preventing me from ever thinking about going back to Apple's keychain. The best news, they are currently running a site-wide promotion for 50%, a whole 50% off your first year for both the individual and the family plans. So to find out more about 1Password and grab that huge 50% discount, just click the link in my description. Right, the big question, will there be hardware at WWDC this year? Now, WWDC is primarily geared towards software. It always has been, software developers, all that stuff. But we do occasionally get glimpses of new hardware. And we are living in rather different times as far as Apple is concerned. 2022, remember, is the year we are supposed to see the full transition to Apple Silicon across the entire Mac lineup. For that reason, I'm confident we're going to see something on June the 6th. I don't think it will be the new MacBook Air. I'm sorry, I think that's coming later this year. But I do think we're going to see glimpses of the Mac Pro. It will be a numbers fest. Apple will mercilessly throw shade at the PC competition, as they always do. We'll hear about teraflops, biblical core counts, and more power per watt efficiency than you can shake a tin of thermal paste at. For most of us, it'll be a Mac whose power we will never have the budget or need for, but for the small audience that do need that Mac Pro, and actually for people like me who are just curious to see what it's like, boy, is it going to be a popcorn moment. On to iOS 16, and I am going to stir a few feathers here and suggest that iOS isn't really in need of massive updates. It'll never be as customizable as Android, nor will that home screen ever receive any significant updates. I think this year, iOS 16 is probably going to be granted that normal kind of small visual refresh, a few minor tweaks, and just improvements to things like widgets. This is fine. I have no problem with Apple simply fettling their mobile operating system every year. We have reached that point where smartphones are just such capable devices that it's hard to think of any seismic leaps forward that would make a difference to everyday life. I'd love jiggle mode to be made 100% less irritating. I'd also like some kind of useful newsfeed when you swipe right from the home screen as you get on Android. Apart from that, some more interesting wallpaper might not go amiss. Apple might surprise us, remember. This could be the year of a massive iOS update. I just can't think what that would look like, or what's currently broken that needs fixing. Can you? Right, iPadOS 16. This is a big one for me, as regular readers of my blog will know. To be honest, if Apple ditched every single announcement and focused entirely on iPadOS next week, I would be a very happy man. Enough is enough. Multitasking remains inherently undiscoverable and teeth-itchingly fiddly when you accidentally bump into it. The home screen still makes poor use of that screen estate on offer on most iPads, and there is still no multi-user support. But more frustrating than any of that is the fact that iPadOS fails to make use of the massive amounts of power that you can get in pretty much any iPad these days. This year, I want iPadOS to finally grow a pair and remove itself from the ties of iOS. It is, I'm afraid, still just a big version of the iPhone operating system. So come on, Apple, give us proper windowed multitasking. It doesn't have to be exactly like macOS. It can be a new version of it. It just needs to be better than what we currently have. And let us decide how many apps we want to have open at once and where we want to place them on the screen. And while you're at it, why not finally make it possible for more than one person to use the same iPad with their own access settings, their own preferences, and their own apps? Lastly, please, please, please give us Pro apps. Final Cut Pro, for me, being completely selfish, will do for starters, but it would be great. It'd be amazing to get glimpses of what might be on the horizon for the likes of Logic Pro and Xcode. They can't let us down again, can they? Right, tvOS 16. Regular readers of my blog will know that I've recently dived wholeheartedly into the world of Apple TV, and I'm very much enjoying the experience. tvOS itself isn't a bad operating system. I think it still needs a bit of refinement, and I would love to see a slightly more logical way of dividing your time between the home screen and that up next section. But it has come on leaps and bounds in recent years. There's only one thing I want from tvOS at the moment, and I think it is largely out of Apple's hands. You see, in the UK, we have no option for integrating a TV service, such as the BBC or Sky, into our Apple TVs. Plenty of other countries do this. In fact, there's a massive list on Apple's website of countries that have compatible TV services. But over here, it just seems to be the missing piece of the jigsaw. If we had that, the Apple TV, I think, would be the perfect home TV system for our household. So if Apple takes to the stage next week and announces a raft of new media company partnerships in the UK, I'll be very happy indeed. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think watchOS is great. I love my Apple Watch. It's just grown up into this really finely tuned fitness companion, and I think that's what most of us wanted from this device. But because of that, it's hard to imagine what Apple might do next with watchOS. I guess they could add a few more workout types, that seems to happen every year, and maybe give us some new kind of fitness-focused watch faces, but that's about it. What I actually want from the Apple Watch is a more interesting piece of hardware, which I think we're probably going to see later this year. We certainly won't see whatever that Apple Watch hardware is at WWDC this year, but I will be keeping an eagle eye out for any watchOS updates that might hint at future hardware developments. Now, don't get me wrong, I am genuinely looking forward to WWDC this year. I'm just tempering my expectations because I don't want to be let down. I'd much rather go in with low expectations and then be surprised by the inevitable things Apple launches that we just would not have thought of. They do that every year with iOS and macOS in particular, but as I mentioned earlier, the thing that I really want to see some massive advancements in is iPadOS. The time has come, guys. We need to see a much better version of the iPad's operating system. But what about you? Use the comments section to tell me what you're most looking forward to at WWDC this year and what you really don't want to see at WWDC this year. Get involved.